Today my guest is Jennifer Louden, and Jen is a personal growth pioneer who has helped launch the self-care movement with your books. And you've written actually 5 books, and your first book was the Women's Comfort book, and you had the Comfort Cafe. You now have launched a new website. Actually, it was last year, and it's Savor and Serve. And your books, it's actually pretty amazing. Your books have reached over 1 million women in 9 languages. And I bet you're probably working on another book at this point, at something. So we'll be excited to see what you write. So welcome, Jen.
Oh, thank you so much for having me and getting a chance to talk about all the stuff that I love.
I'm excited to just hear about some of the things you've been working on. So I mentioned that you just started this your new site last year. So you've had a year of this experiment of Savor and Serve. And you've been writing about it, blogging about it. I just would love to know, what have you come away with a year later? And what's the impact that you've seen on the women that you work with?
It's not quite been a year, so I have about 6 weeks more to go. But what I've discovered is a couple of things. Okay. One is that savoring and serving is intimately related to our deepest desires as women. We want to be present for this life. We don't want to wake up after a great night out, after wonderful time with our children or our best friend, and go, oh my God, but I really wasn't there. So the universality and the longing that we all have to savor has been very present for me and for the women I've been talking to. The other thing is the service part. Service is a really loaded word. And I don't know that we all yearn to serve, is something I've discovered. But I do think we yearn to know our lives matter. And somehow it seems to be that the sweetness and the depth is in the living of uniting those two. It's not, I'm going to be present over here and then I'm going to go make a difference. It's really in bringing the two together.
Speaking of serving, what did you learn about that? We'll talk about savoring and what you mean by savoring. I'd love to hear something about that as well.
Well, I think true to my personality, when I started off, it was kind of, I have this very, I don't want to call it Calvinistic, but this very the biggest one I found is that people are serving now, but they want to serve in a different way. So they either need to serve less, or they need to serve in a way that lights them up, so that it's a cycle or a flow. So what doesn't work is when it's all going out. So really, ironically, or not ironically, I'm not sure if that's the right use of the word, I really discovered the same thing that I've been discovering for the last 20 years. It's about this wholehearted wholeness. It's about giving as much as we're receiving. So while there definitely are women who don't want to serve, there's a lot less of them than I thought. And in general, it's more of this feeling of, I want to find a way to bring my heart into this life and to know that I'm making a difference. Absolutely. And it's connecting those two. It's the connection that seems to be the place that I want to move next, which is what the Sheros Journey is about, is how do we take that yearning to be present, to be ourselves, to be authentic and wholehearted and whole, and how do we connect it to making a difference in a way that keeps feeding us. Even with both feet, and it's all got to have meaning, and it's all got to be, chew on it. And what I realized is you can't really savor life that way. Savoring is another word for, it's for treasuring. It's another word for gratitude. It's another word for your whole body being present. And this is, of course, it's just the irony of it. It's a little embarrassing. It makes me blush because I'm always learning these things.
Well, that's why we teach them, I think, right? I mean, it's a constant process. It's a journey. It's a Shero's journey for sure.
So savoring is using our desire and our sensuality and our bodies and our minds and our gratitude and our different to be present. So to me, it's really turned out to be another word for being present. And
I know. I love that. That's great. I love the word savor, and I've even, since I have watched you, I will use that word. it just reminds me to savor, you know, to be there in that moment or that deliciousness, whatever it is.
Yes, and I think the part of the word that I love is that there's a lingering.
Exactly.
And when I think about how our unconscious brings us to the work that we need to do, I am an ever ready bunny, whatever it's called. Am I always on to the next thing, right?
Right.
So it's like saying to me yet again, God saying to me yet again, baby, why don't we slow down?
I'm a quick start too. That's probably what you are on the Colby. Whatever.
Oh, yes,
I am. I'm off the cliff. I mean, I'm high at that taking action. So I'm the same way, and it's a real. I think that's why I do the work, and I'm back this year looking and studying with you know, online Eckhart Tolle. It's to just absolutely be present and not to be in the future or the past, which is the way where we most of us live. I know we're both fans of Joe Campbell, and I'm excited that you're doing an online class. February 1st it starts, and people can find it on your site, jenlouden.com. Can you talk about what what your online class, what women will learn, and who that's for? Just what you go through, and that it's 5 or 6 weeks?
I believe it's 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
So it's a taste of really leaning into this place where we are so afraid to take a stand. I have been, like so many people, intrigued by that quote by Marianne Williamson. You know, so how can we own that light? How can we own that power? My gut tells me, so this is not based on any extensive research or anything, but there's enough of us who have been doing awareness practices and meditation and yoga and self-love that we've reached a critical mass, and now we're ready to take that energy, stay with it and keep maintaining it and being present with it, but also start really saying, okay, what lights me up to do in the world? What lights me up? And what I love about the Sheros Journey as a frame is, to me, it's like I watch The Lord of the Rings, you know, I read these books since I'm a kid, and it's always a boy, it's always a man.
It's true. That's good. I love it. Get out there and bust that paradigm, that old paradigm.
Yeah,
it's
so
great.
What is it about the Hero's Journey that Mr. Campbell studied is applicable to us in these modern times, and what is our journey, and how can we look at it from an archetypal point of view for the greater purpose of serving? Because we know that what Campbell said was the difference between a celebrity and a hero is a celebrity goes on the journey for him or herself, and the hero brings back the boons for the community. So that's the part that really intrigues me.
That's really, it's like the ego versus the soul, and giving back. And I love that. I love the idea of the dragons. You know, I noticed that's part of the curriculum. Slaying the dragons, that's part of the journey, and that's...
Or giving them chocolate or a little chai tea.
Yeah, actually, that is a good way to approach them. I go in with inquiry, you know, and it's the thoughts and the beliefs, and it's... and also, I think, having gone through a tragedy in my family about 6 years ago with my younger brother, things happen. You know, things happen in life that aren't nice. They're not, you know, they're dark. They can be dark. Or, you know, we all go through death and divorce, or things happen. And that is a dragon of sorts. And, you know, my feeling, too, is that we... And I think Elizabeth Lesser talks about this, that breaks us open to who we really are. You know, it sort of peels back more and more. And that's what I love about when I looked at your curriculum, what it looks like you're taking them through in a short process. So I hope you'll write more about that.
I think I may write a book about it.
I think it'd be great.